Have you ever wondered what it would feel like to walk through a place lost to time? A village so forgotten, it seems to exist only in stories and whispers. Welcome to the eerie legend of Ravenmoor, a small settlement that once thrived deep in the forests of northern England before vanishing from every map. The story begins with Thomas Avery, a young journalist who had spent his career chasing local legends and documenting eerie places around the countryside. One overcast evening, he received an anonymous letter postmarked with no return address. The message was short and chilling. "They're still there. Ravenmoor waits for you." Driven by curiosity and the undeniable pull of the unknown, Thomas packed his camera, a notebook, and a small flashlight, setting out on what would become the most harrowing investigation of his life. According to the scarce records, he managed to uncover Ravenmoor was once a quiet agricultural village with fewer than 30 residents, all of whom disappeared without a trace in the autumn of 1923. Rumors spoke of strange lights seen in the hills, unexplainable animal behavior, and eerie figures standing at the edge of the woods. As Thomas trekked deep into the ancient forest, he noticed the thick mist curling unnaturally around the trees, muffling sound and seeming to distort time itself. Hours passed, as though minutes, and his compass spun aimlessly. Finally, in a hollowed clearing surrounded by gnarled oaks, he stumbled upon the remnants of the village. Crumbled stone cottages covered in ivy, an old chapel with its bell frozen, and a dilapidated sign barely legible with the name Ravenmoor. The air grew colder as he entered the heart of the village, where an old water well stood at its center. Locals in neighboring towns had long spoken of this cursed well, claiming it had been sealed by the last remaining villagers to contain something terrible. As Thomas peered into its depths, he swore he heard faint voices calling his name. Each cottage he explored showed signs of sudden abandonment, meals still on tables, personal belongings strewn about, and faded photographs of faces that seemed to watch him from within cracked picture frames. Even the trees outside bent unnaturally toward the village, as if nature itself recoiled from the place. As night fell, an otherworldly glow began to rise from the forest floor, and mist thickened into a nearly impenetrable fog. The unsettling quiet was broken only by the occasional, distant ringing of a bell from the chapel tower, though the ropes had long since rotted away. Thomas began to document his findings when strange symbols appeared etched into the walls of each house. Symbols, he would later discover, matched ancient protection sigils meant to trap malevolent forces. The deeper he ventured, the heavier the air became, and the once quiet village streets seemed to pulse with unseen movement. Thomas recorded whispers that seemed to come from nowhere, shadows flitting between buildings, and the sense of being watched by unseen eyes. The final horror came when he uncovered a dusty journal in what appeared to be the village leader's home. The entries detailed the last days of Ravenmoor, describing how an unknown visitor arrived from the north, bringing with them a relic of unspeakable power. The relic, it was said, possessed the ability to call forth spirits of the forest, who then claimed the souls of the villagers one by one. The final entry read, "The well is our only hope. If you find this, leave this place and never return." At that moment, the chapel bell rang again, this time louder and unmistakable. Thomas, overcome with dread, fled the village through the choking fog, following the faint glow of his flashlight. As he emerged from the forest at dawn, the entire village behind him had vanished. No ruins, no well, just dense, unbroken woods. Authorities and fellow journalists later dismissed his story as folklore, but Thomas's recovered footage and notes continued to chill those brave enough to examine them. Ravenmoor remains a ghost town lost to history, its legend kept alive by whispered stories of those who dared to enter the forest and are never seen again. Some say, on mist-covered nights, the bell can still be heard, a warning to stay away from what was left behind. If this chilling legend makes your skin crawl, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to True Terrifiers Official for more terrifying real-life mysteries, haunted legends, and eerie true horror stories brought to light every night.